welcome. I'm Ijoma Onyaso. Tonight, federal government meets northern elders, gives strong warning to those issuing threats to other citizens. Again, former Attorney General of the Federation, Mohammed Adoke, and other accused persons in the Malabu oil scandal are absent in court, stalling the trial. National Meteorological Agency predicts massive flooding in coastal states, warns governments to take preventive steps. And hundreds fall ill from suspected food poisoning at Iraqi refugee camp.
On business news tonight, central bank boosts foreign exchange market with yet another $418 million as Naira trades around 370.
While on sports news, new leadership emerges in the Nigeria Sporting Federations after the Sports Ministry and the Nigeria Olympic Committee conclude their elections.
The federal government resolves to eliminate bottlenecks in obtaining mining licenses to encourage investors in the sector.
The federal government has given the strongest warning yet and ever to ethnic groups issuing threats to other citizens. Now, the acting president, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, in very clear terms, warned those promoting violence and disrupting the peace in the country to stop or face the consequences. Professor Osinbajo read the Riot Act during a first consultative meeting today at the presidential villa with a cross-section of elders and leaders of the northern states. Our correspondent Gloria Umezuke reports.
This is the first consultative meeting the acting president will be having with a cross-section of northern elders and leaders of faults since the threat issued by a group of youths in Kaduna known as Arewayus and agitations for Biafra by youths from southeastern part of the country.
Distinguished President.
It was a full house with leaders from the legislative and executive arm, the chief of staff, service chiefs and other members from the legislative and executive arm in attendance.
On Sunday, I will also be meeting...
Not leaving anything to chance, the acting president read the Riot Act on the recent threats by some youth groups and similar bodies which has brewed negatively in the last couple of weeks, warning that the government would not allow anyone go away with hate and divisive speeches.
Hate or divisive speech or divisive behavior where it is illegal will be met with the full force of the law. And I want to ensure that there is no doubt at all of the resolve of government to ensure that no one will be allowed to get away with making speeches that can cause division or that can cause violence, especially because when we make these kinds of pronouncements and we do things that can cause violence or destruction of lives and property, we are no longer in control. Those who make those speeches are no longer in control. So I want to just emphasize that that government will take very seriously any attempts to cause violence or any attempts to disrupt the peace of this country.
He warned that the government is determined to ensure the unity of the nation along constitutional lines.
We must be careful to recognize that we can only even begin to talk about getting any part of anything if we're together in peace. These days, wars do not end, and I'm sure that all of those who have seen or experienced war in any shape or form would not wish it on their worst enemies. This is not a time to retreat behind ethnic lines. Moments like this are not for isolating ourselves. And I want to urge all of us who are here and, of course, the entire Nigerian populace that it's a time for us to come together and to work together. As a government, we're, of course, determined to ensure the unity of the country along the lines of our constitution.
The ongoing consultative meeting with other regions and religious leaders extends till Sunday, the 18th of June, 2017. Gloria Umezuke, Channels Television News.
In the meantime, the governor of Imo State has extended an olive branch to the northern elders, saying the Igbos are being misunderstood as they are indeed friends of other ethnic groups, including the north. The governor in a broadcast today appealed to Igbo leaders to stop being enemies and work together with the rest of the country to build a nation that will accommodate every Nigerian.
I tell you what is the best for you as a people. We must change our style. We must change our faith. And for the Igbo nation, I don't want to sound like a Pontius Pilate, and I don't want to be firm making a judgment, but there's need for us to rethink on how we can move our economy forward, or not how we can create enemies for ourselves. I understand that we are being misunderstood. Why are you misunderstood as Igbos? The problem is that you deal even better with non-Igbos than you deal with your brothers. I wish the Northerners will understand that an Igbo man is the worst enemy of a fellow Igbo man, but a better friend of the North. That people do not know about us. We don't even unite. Our problem is unity. But let's not extend this hatred within ourselves, outside, to be hated by others. We must stop, and that's the right way to go. And I want to appeal to all Igbos at this moment that my heart is bleeding, that we make a rethink and do not join others in singing the song or vision of this country. We need Nigeria more than Nigeria needs us now.
In the meantime, the Minister of Interior, retired General Abdulrahman Dambazo, says efforts are being made to ensure that the lives and property of Nigerians are protected. He gave the assurance after a closed-door meeting with lawmakers in the House of Representatives on the measures being taken to tackle security challenges facing the country. Our correspondent Larry Lasisi reports.
Federal character, please resume your seat.
The Ministers of Interior and Defense making their way into the chamber of the House of Representatives. They are accompanied by service chiefs from all security agencies. Welcoming them, the Speaker states clearly why they were invited.
They are here to brief the House on the measures to tackle the grave security challenges facing the nation, and particularly the spate of wanton kidnappings along Abuja-Kaduna Road. Even yesterday, unfortunately, there was another incident.
The briefing is, however, held behind closed doors. Almost 4 hours later, the visitors make their way out. They are not in the mood to speak.
Your own estimation, sir.
Eventually, the Minister of Interior speaks.
Yes, that's the growing state of kidnapping, sir. We need to stop. We ask for a meeting.
Of course, all efforts are being made to ensure that the lives and property of Nigerians are secure.
Example of such effort.
The chairman of the House Committee on Public Safety and Intelligence also speaks on the outcome of the meeting.
That we had from all the security agencies that were able to present their stand on this issue of kidnapping and some other security challenges in the country, that all the members of Parliament, they really understand and they agree with their stand. And then there are some other grey areas that we are going to address these areas between the National Assembly and security agencies in due course. Well, the hope that we have, honestly, all the security agencies, they are doing their best, and the National Assembly too, they are doing their best in the issue of funding and the issue of oversight. So in this regard, I know within no time we'll make things very easy.
It is expected that this meeting will breathe new life into the efforts of security agencies in the drive to tackle the wave of kidnapping in the country. Lanre Lasisi, Channels Television News.
Hundreds of Fulani herdsmen have trooped out onto the streets of Taraba State in protest against the anti-open grazing bill in the state. The protesters took their grievances to the State House of Assembly, threatening legal action against the move. On their part, the state lawmakers are insisting that the bill is in the best interest of peace.
All appears calm in the metropolis of Taraba State, with residents going about their planned activities. That is, until the movement is disrupted by this procession. Hundreds of Fulani herdsmen have trooped out in protest of what they say is an infringement of their rights as citizens of Nigeria. Under the close watch of security agents, the protesters make their way to the State House of Assembly to air their grievances. They are kicking against the proposed plan of the House to put the anti-open grazing bill into practice. To them, this is unacceptable.
In particular, will give them power to arrest and detain without seeking permission from any security agents. It means that in reality, Taraba State wants to establish a state police to deal with Fulanis. The government will allow us to do our open grazing until we arrive for ranching. As it is now, Taraba State government and the people of Taraba State, we are not arrived for establishing of ranching in Taraba State.
In their response, members of the House say the situation in the country has made it impossible for the grazing bill to be ignored.
One of the recommendations of that matter of urgent public importance was that there is need for government to encourage, the state government should come up with law that will encourage ranching in Taraba State. We do not make bill targeted at any individual or any group or any tribe in Taraba State. We make bill and laws for the good governance of the people of Taraba State.
But the herdsmen are having none of it, threatening legal action against the state.
We may have done it. Now it is Taraba. We must resist to this. We will go to any legal level up to Supreme Court. We will challenge this.
What many may find strange about this protest is the apparent lack of care for those who have been affected by pockets of violence, with hundreds killed, property and farmland destroyed, allegedly by herdsmen. The most recent attack is coming from Abia State, where one person is reported to have been killed. Many groups have staged countless protests against herdsmen activities without yielding much result. The only way it seemed of containing the menace is in the setting up of anti-grazing bills, which the governor of Ekiti and Benue have championed, a move that has seen some calm return to the states. So what makes Taraba or any other northern state different? What the protesters should understand is that the intention of the government is ensuring the safety of all Nigerians. So the energy behind this march should be all about enforcing peace and not for further fatal confrontations.
Let's take a look at some legal matters now. The case against the former Attorney General and Minister of Justice Muhammad Adoke and 8 others in the Malabu oil deal has been stalled because of the absence of the defendants. According to the prosecution, Mr. Johnson Ojubane, most of the defendants are outside the country and the government is making efforts to get them to attend the trial or be extradited by their host countries. The EFCC had in December 2016 charged 9 suspects, including the former Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, for allegedly transferring more than $800 million, purportedly meant for the purchase of the oil-producing license 245 to Mr. Dan Etete and former oil minister and Malabu Oil. The case has been adjourned to October the 26th, 2017.
The matter was adjourned to today for arraignment of the defendants in the Malabu case. And up until now, we have not been able to secure the attendance of most of the defendants because they are outside jurisdiction. I mean, they are outside the country. And the federal government is doing everything within its powers to bring them back to Nigeria so that they can face their trial. So we have further adjourned the case to after vacation to enable the process of bringing them back to Nigeria be intensified and ensure that they are here to stand trial eventually. What we are doing presently is to ensure that we have a holistic approach to the case. We want to put everybody together, and those who are in the charge want to try them together. So we'll give ourselves some time. If we're able to do this and get them back to Nigeria, then we'll continue. Otherwise, we'll still take a major decision to see how we can proceed with those that are available for the trial.
In part 2, after the break, House of Representatives presses for posthumous award for winner of the June 12, 1993 presidential election, Chief Moshood Abiola. That's in a moment. Please stay with us.